Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sofia Flores, and today we will be talking about holiday hair. You know, it's my favorite time of year. It's the time where everybody's going out, they're doing more festive parties and events. So it's really important for us as stylists to know exactly what to do, how to care for the hair, and how to create gorgeous looks. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to do a faux bob, creating a really special technique that I've created. It makes it a lot easier for you. You have more control over the hair, and you're very much well able to kind of just place the pieces in a way that looks more natural instead of sometimes having to like shove hair in to create that bob shape look, right? So let me talk to you a little bit about prep. Today, this morning, my lovely model Bree, she's amazing to work with, by the way. Aww. I'm blessed to have you, yes. She just had a really beautiful redhead hue, and I said, well, let's kind of polish you up and create a little bit more of a pop. So I glossed her. If you want to know formulations, be sure to message if you want to know a little bit about that. And from there, I started to prep the hair with system number 3. So system 3 really has that color protection. It's really able to go in and give her that essential nutrients that the hair needs to look as lively as it is right now. From there, guys, I went ahead and started to blow her out. I believe that when you create holiday hair, it's super important, guys, to go ahead and start to understand how and what is going into that hair, right? So if you want to build a strong house, what do architects do? They build a very strong foundation, right? So that is what I do in my upstyle work. Why? Because it's able to give you confidence. So with her, what I did, I just sprayed Therm Activ all over the hair. It's our thermal protectant spray. And from there, guys, I went ahead and put Bodifying Foam. Bodifying Foam is an amazing product from NIOXIN. I think a lot of people don't understand the power that it is to use it. Why? Because it's almost like hair is fabric. I want you to think about it that way. And when you have hair, sometimes it could be a little bit slippery or it can come out of your hands. But Bodifying Foam, this is a product if you don't know what it looks like. This is the product that's really going to give you that grip that's not too much, it's not overpowered, it's just the right amount of texture in order to get into that curl or your blowout. So I blow out the hair, I did Therm Activ, Bodifying Foam, a concoction of those 2 products, and then I just went in horizontal sectionings, like about 3 subsections, and I did vertical sets with about a 1 inch, 1.5 inch curling rod. So when you do your sectionings, guys, depending on the curl pattern that you want, for me, I wanted to keep this faux bob a little bit more, I would say, old glam. So I did a very specific blend in the front, where it's more of a 1920s wave. And in the back, it's more of a loose curl. Why? Because I wanted the front to be that wow, that 1920s, almost like Great Gatsby vibe, right? So I went ahead and did that, and then I just set her up so that I can finish it in front of you guys. And what I want you to know is in the back, what I talked to you about earlier with foundation working, we're gonna take a subsection. So just where her neck is, depending on the client that you're working with, if they don't have a lot of hair, I would say to create this a little bit shorter. Why? Because you're gonna need that hair to create volume, right? So it's very important that you know what you're working with. If it's someone who has a lot of hair, what I would do is I would create a thicker section so that you can hide the hair, and that way you can create that nice bob shape in a more natural manner or fashion. So right here, what I'm gonna do is create a very just quick little braid, and this will be your foundation, okay? We're gonna use Definition Cream. This is almost like an elixir / pomade. It's amazing. Why? Because it gives you a little bit of control, a little bit of smoothness, but again, it's not gonna affect the hair to feel thick or anything like that. And this braid, guys, is not going to be shown, so it doesn't matter what kind of braid you do, as long as the hair is nicely tucked away Another thing I wanted to mention to you all is the power of Diamax. So I did not mention to you this before, but when I do holiday hair, I always, guys, use my favorite hero product. Why? Because Diamax is a styler and a treatment. It's gonna give you that longevity of creating a look with 8-hour humidity resistance. So that means I can do my style, and I know for a fact that it's gonna hold up in whatever, you know, fun holiday party my client is gonna go to. Because there's nothing worse than looking like a hot mess at the end of a night of dancing and a few glasses of whatever your choice of drink is, you know? So always, you know, give them that sense of security and tell them like, hey, I'm using this product to give you that sense of security. I'm doing this because it's gonna help you. Your hair's gonna look great. Even on second day hair, it's gonna look awesome, and things like that. So towards the end of the braid, what I want you to do is get a rubber band, an elastic rubber band. If you're working with someone like her color texture, I would probably use clear. So just grab one and tie that little subsection that we created. Okay. And again, it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just that the hair needs to be tucked away. And what I like to think of when I do up styles is to really use somebody's hair as like pieces, work in pieces. Why? If you look at the whole piece, what happens is you may get overwhelmed. And what happens when you're overwhelmed is you get a little bit scared, right? You're like, how am I gonna do this? Where am I gonna start? So if you work in pieces, it's less overwhelming, it's more natural, you have, again, more control, right? So I'm just gonna pin these little pieces of hair into that braid. I'm very fortunate to have Bree because she has amazing hair to work with. But let's say it was someone who had baby fine hair, which is a really like true NIOXIN client. What I would then suggest to you to do, you see this little cushion that Bree is holding? I would go ahead, I'm using it as to hold my pins, but I would go ahead and snip it and cut it and create a long band, almost like a worm, and you would literally pin that horizontally from ear to ear. Like so, this would be cut up, it would be horizontal, that way you have a nice base and more of a round shape, if that makes any sense. That's my little secret. She doesn't need it, fortunately, so we're blessed, right?
Sophia?
Yes, ma'am.
We have a question on what color did you use for the model?
Absolutely, I knew that was gonna come up. Very great question. So like I said earlier, she came to me with a really nice color work that she had done for an event. So I really just wanted to freshen her up. And what I did there was, I did on her root, I used KP, Koleston Perfect from Wella, 8/3/4 with 10 volume because she was already light, so it was just deposit only. She had no gray, I didn't need to do any gray coverage or gray formulation. And on her roots and tips, I used stroke 3/4, color touch half parts with stroke 4/3, and that was 6 volume. So that was just kind of like a little gloss, something to really make her red polish. Can I have a rubber band, please? Okay, so now we're gonna grab another rubber band, and I want you to pin the bottom of this section. Okay, I know this is weird. You're like, what the heck is she doing? Promise you there's a purpose. What did I tell you earlier? It's about control when you're doing up styles. I mean, don't you like to work with less stress? I'm that way. So I just create little tidbits, little cheating strategies for me. And when the hair is nicely prepped, you're able to really have versatile looks. Like I could take this all down, guys, and I'm able to really have anything I would want, right? Because I took the time, I prepped it, I put the products that she needed. And not only that, but I also, I did everything with a purpose. Sometimes when you're doing upstyles, you're just so frantic. Oh, I just need hairspray and I need like a polisher and maybe, you know, bobby pins and rubber bands. No, take a step back and say, what am I working with? What is the texture like? What does she need? What is her vision? That's another thing. What are they wearing? Okay? We have to take into consideration all of these important elements, I would say. Why? Because you're creating a look. From the accessory to the shoe to the clutch to everything, there is purpose. And so you really want to create an overall harmony, a synchronization, everything that you do. So from here, I created 3 separate, I would say like subsections. Then you want to pin this in and you want to create a round shape here, okay? When I'm pinning this in, guys, don't be afraid to kind of, you know, dramatize kind of like her neck, right? Because you want her to have that shape. It's important to step back, want to look at it, how's it looking, that kind of a thing, right? And then from here, I always use bobby pins that are open when I'm doing the faux bob because you have more, you know, just ability to pin that hair in a way that's not too much, right? And don't be afraid to really pull this out. We'll do that later. But I'm just going to go ahead and create that tucking in. So you want to wrap this hair all the way in. Make sure. Question.
Hi, Sophia. Is it true that you should come clean with clean hair or dirty hair before you get an updo or a style?
It's a really great question. So it depends. I often make that specific to my client. I suggest that you do the same. So let's say Bree was someone who had really oily hair. I would probably tell her, I'm going to wash it for you. Or I would say, come and I'm going to use Instant Fullness, which is our dry cleanser. Why? Because our dry cleanser is volumizing. So let's say you didn't have the time to do the prep. You have a full day booked into the salon. You don't have time to blow dry hair for 30 minutes. That's perfectly a reasonable situation. I've been in that. So then I would just go ahead and just spray a few layers of our Instant Fullness, and I guarantee you that you're going to be in a very good position. It's an amazing product. Not only that, but I prefer to have them I blow them out the day before, and I say, come back, you know, tomorrow and we'll do your upstyle. So they kind of have like they usually have it, if it's a bride, they'll be like, oh, you know, well, I have a bridal whatever party tonight, so my blowout will last and be cool for that, right? So you kind of have purpose behind doing their hair the day before. Does that help? I hope it helps. Okay, so now we're finishing that shape. I want you to get a rat tail comb, and I want you to gently just spray the bottom and make sure that these little flyaways are out. And then I want you to start to expand the shape, right? Again, it's already looking like, oh my gosh, you just chopped your hair off. And this is amazing because for people that don't want to cut their hair, this is kind of like a little cheat sheet to feel like, oh my gosh, I have a faux bob, but it's not really fake, it's still long. So then right here, what I told you earlier, this is going to be my 1920s Great Gatsby feel. So we're going to go ahead and brush this beautiful set that I did. Don't be afraid to brush things out, ladies and gentlemen. It's perfectly normal. Okay, so you want to really begin to create that nice little S wave everybody wants. It's so glam. If she was wearing a gown, oh my God, like, girl, Nicole Kidman ain't got nothing on you, okay?
Sophia, you're getting a lot of love about your dress that you are wearing.
Oh, goodness. All right. Thank you. Well, you know, it is the holiday season, and we're doing holiday looks. And usually I work with models who have beautiful clothing, so I'm like, well, now I get to shine a little bit, right? So, thank you. Okay, there we are. So you see that shape starting to create that S wave that everybody's wanting. There is nothing to this, guys. It literally is just a vertical section, horizontal wand pieces, right? But you want to create, if you wanted to create more of that S wave or S shape, I would go ahead and start to pin almost like secondhand setting, right? And you could probably just put a little clip there while I finish the rest of her bob, if you really wanted to over-exaggerate that. And I'll go ahead and do that so you get a feel for what that looks like. So you can get one of these little tiny micro silver pins, and you can just start to pin that in, okay? So it's creating that nice, beautiful shape. Right here, I would probably create another one. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and spray that. Again, it's all about going with that hair, guys. You never wanna fight against it. Usually, it has its own memory. It's almost like muscle memory, right? So the hair is, it'll work with you if you work with it. Don't try to fight it. If you do that, I've learned the hard way, never works out. You have to wash the hair again. It's just like a craziness thing. All right, so here, let's see, I'm gonna take this out. Okay, I'm gonna start to comb that. And don't be afraid, guys, to back comb too. I don't really like to do it if it's not necessary. But if you have like little pockets where you want to hide, it's okay. Go ahead and do that so that you have more of a density effect.
Sophia, do you have any tips on backcombing finer texture hair?
Yes, I do. So I like to use this GHD mini backcomber. I love it because the bristles are a combination of like the boar, the typical, which is more abrasive or it's harder, harsh, and then it's in a combination with a few like softer hairs. So when you have this fusion, you're able to really just backcomb to where it's not cutting, it's not breaking, it's not causing like damage, okay? So from there, I would always, if I were you, when you're using backcombing techniques for fine texture, I would do it underneath instead of overhand. That way, if anything happens, like you have that safety, okay? Right, so we're gonna start pinning this. Again, you can over-exaggerate this bob. It doesn't have to be like super, super short over here. I prefer it to be a little bit longer, so I'm gonna leave it at that. That way I could really showcase. And I mean, I wish you had a gown on to have the full effect. I should have brought you one of mine, but it would probably come to your knee because I'm so short. Next time we work together. Maybe in Australia. She's from Australia, guys. She was telling me all about the beautiful beaches. I'm like, babe, if you're watching, that's our next vacation, okay? Yes.
Sophia, can you talk about Diamax Advanced again for those that are just joining?
Yes, absolutely. So Diamax Advanced, guys, it is our superhero product. Why? It really gives you that ability to style hair, and it gives you strength. So it has 3 key ingredients in it that create, that superpower effect. And what it is, it's basically ingredients that we find in skincare. So it's really polishing the hair, it's giving you strength, it's giving you anti-aging effects. And not only that, guys, but also it's giving you 8 hours of humidity hold. So I'm from the South. In the South, we have humidity. Yes, we're in December, but it's like 75 swamp, okay? Diamax, to me, I can't have it not be on the hair for my client because I need to know that she can go out that night, have a blast, dance her butt off, and still look polished, right? So for example, I probably shouldn't say this, but it's reality. They don't believe me, but I told them, my hair is 5 days old. Okay, I went to a holiday party before I came out to LA yesterday. And I'm Latin, I dance. We danced a lot. And when I say I, had this set done on Thursday, I was gonna wash it today and my coworkers were like, don't, it looks fine. So all I did was place instant fullness in it. That's all I did. I kid you not, I just went everywhere. Again, this creates volume, so it's getting all that oil out of your hair. And I'm just like, wow, if I didn't have it, I would be in a bad situation today, right? I was too busy doing your hair.
Sophia, we have a great question from Rochelle.
Okay.
How do you choose how short or long you would like to make the faux bob?
So I like to play with her dimensions. If she has a beautiful neck, let's just be honest, some people can rock a very, very short bob and some people can't because they don't have the bone structure or the high neck that you need, right? So I would tell you that play with their face frame, their eyes, their bone structure. That's very important. You really want to highlight their features. You don't want to take away from their beauty, right? So if it's someone who, let's say, has a really long face, I would probably create more of a shorter bob, which still looks amazing, right? On her, but she's a model, that's why she's here. That's why she's getting paid. She's perfect. So if someone didn't have that, you really want to play with their features. Hope you guys are enjoying this. I think she's looking really, really good. I'm just going to pin this one section that I'm not liking. What was that?
Do you have a preference on which way you part the hair, like angled down the center?
Yeah, so I like to really play with her natural tendency. So I asked her, where do you usually part your hair if you wear a side shape? And she told me, I like to over direct to the right side. So I was like, okay, hun, we'll do that. And when I was blow drying it, I was doing that in that direction, and it was already coming all around and beautiful. So I would say that that's the way that I like to do it. You can backcomb a little, these little sections here, again, creating that nice touch. And we're almost done. I wish we had more time because I would take this down and do another look, but for the sake of time, I'm going to do another look for you guys using a different model because, again, it's really important as well to choose the right styles for the right color. Why? Because this is going to look different on a blonde. This is going to look different on a brunette, right? Keep that in mind. When you're working with darker colors, I would always recommend that you work with shape. So this, for darker hair clients, the bomb. If it's someone who is blonde, that's probably a client that you can use, I would say, braiding, because braids tend to show up more on blonde hair on lighter colors versus dark.
Anna said it's beautiful.
Thank you, Deanna. Showing some love.
Remind our viewers which system you used when you were prepping her hair. You have a question.
Sure. So I used System 3 cleanser, scalp therapy, and then I went ahead and did a cocktail of Therm Activ to make sure that she's not, prone to damage with hot tools. And then I used Bodifying Foam with Diamax. So here we are. I'm going to take this away, and I'm going to actually stand you up. So gorgeous. Turn around for us. Keep going, keep going. Work that, girl. Great Gatsby over here. Yes. Beautiful. All right, so we'll have my next model come up. Thank you so much. Hello. Hi. Miss Beautiful Cassie. All right. So now I give you brunette love. So with her, again, we went through a little consultation, and I asked her what she wanted to do, and she's happy with her color. So we just went ahead and prepped the hair for style work. Now with her, guys, I really want to create 2 looks if we have the opportunity, but if not, it's okay. I'll have to do another Facebook Live. All right, so right now, guys, what is trending? Braids, waves, less is more, right? We're done away with the whole like pinned up look, right? Like nobody wants overly worked hair. Why? Because dresses, gowns, they're becoming more of a statement. So we really want to create the hair to be a little bit more simplified, but still posh, still polished. So what I'm going to do with her, oh, sorry, can't hear me. All right, so we're going to do a low pony with a twist though, because ponies, they're coming back, right? I did one recently on my Instagram. If you add me, it's Forever Young, Forever YOU, you'll see that pony, and it's a little bit higher, but now I want to create one that's a little bit lower. Why? Because let's say this is someone who's wearing, I don't know, a high neck, or maybe not a high neck, but off the shoulder. Let's just say that, off the shoulder. Or maybe it's someone who's wearing a dress that's like bedazzled, and they want the hair to be kind of swept away from their face. This is a really good option because it doesn't draw away from the dress or the gown. Okay, so we're gonna do, again, I work in a lot of sections if you haven't noticed, always doing back and sides. So what I'm gonna do, well, I'm gonna tell you first what I did to prep. Basically the same thing, right? Those are my staples, Bodifying Foam. It looks like this, has Pro-Thick technology, so it's gonna create that volume in the hair, texture, and not only that, but it's gonna be very soft and weightless, which is what I need, okay? From there, I went ahead and put Diamax all over, doing about, I don't know, 6 to 8 pumps. And then I brushed it all, made sure that the product was well distributed. Why? Because sometimes we'll put in some sections, but it didn't coat the whole fabric. So make sure, please, to always try to get like a wide tooth comb and just brush that out, and then begin to do your prep. So we did a blow dry, just drying it out real smoothly, real polished. If I have polished hair, I know I'm gonna be in a good position. If it's not, don't even mess with it. It's gonna look like a hot mess. You know what I mean? Like she probably did it at home. So that's the difference between home, maybe like YouTube tutorial, like a girl just did it by herself, and someone who knows product. Our products are designed to really help us as stylists, and I really think that we should take advantage. We should really hone in on that and use it to our best capability. All right, so what I'm gonna do is create a horizontal section up on top, okay? And she has great volume or density, so I may or may not backcomb. We'll see how it looks, okay? So I'm just gonna pin this away. and work with the bottom section. Okay. So right here, I'm going to actually lift you up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. I feel taller with my heels, so. There we go. All right. So on this section, I want you to grab Definition Cream, which is, again, our polisher. All right? And I'm going to have Casey hold this.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is our Definition Cream. Again, it's an elixir / pomade. Really creates a nice little polished feeling without it being overpowered. If I were to take this down and brush it all out, she could still have her little waves, you know, maybe go to a nice dinner with friends if she didn't want to wear the pony. And it would still look like I didn't put any product in it. Okay, so you gently just want to brush everything nicely kept. Again, we're doing a low pony, so make sure that it's kind of towards the nape of the neck, not so much up top. Okay, so here we are. Make sure that's clean. If it's not clean, if you have some little flyaways, just gently spray a little bit of regular hold. It is my working spray. And our classic 2 bobby pins and a rubber band. So you really just want to stick that in, secure it. Whoop, it's not secured. Let's try that again.
Sophia, you're getting a hi from Boston and a buenos noches.
Buenas noches. Oh my goodness, some español. Hello, Boston. How are you guys? All right, so we're gonna go ahead and twist until you're happy with it being secure. I always ask my client, how does this feel? Is it too tight? All right. Why? Because there's nothing worse than being a bride or at a holiday party and you're in pain the whole night. I've been that person. There we go. So that's nicely tucked away. Don't worry about this rubber band showing because we're actually gonna hide it later on, okay? So we'll worry about that later. Now we're gonna do a little twist technique here. Now, if it was somebody that had really baby fine hair, let me see how this works. Yep, okay. So this is a good kind of pointer. When you want to see if the hair is going to have natural volume without tease, you just kind of like twist and want to push it up, right? And see if there's more of a round, bubbly kind of effect. If you do have this, that means the hair has really good, you know, density as it is, so you don't have to backcomb, all right? So with her, I'm not going to. What I'm actually going to do is create 2 subsections and start to twist this hair, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and part it one more time and start to really fold in her fabric. See that? Now this gives you a really nice play, a really nice control, so that the hair isn't all over the place, all right? And right here, I'm going to start to pin. So we're going to tuck that hair to the side. And I'm going to go ahead and use the closed bobby pins. I want you guys to close in right here, opposite side of where you twisted, and just put in that bobby pin straight in, okay? You're going to probably create about 4 to 5 pins here to really make sure that it doesn't fall out, okay? Almost done there. And again, the hair is really manageable, guys. Why? Because I took the time to prep. If you do not prep correctly, it's so important. I can't stop telling you guys how important that is. right? So we're going to do the same thing on this side. So we did that opposite hand going towards the right. We're going to do the same exact twist technique going to my left. All right, so again, polish your fabric. Don't be afraid. It has muscle memory, remember? And if you're feeling that it has a little bit of flyaways, just go ahead and put a little hand of your regular holds. Not a problem. Again, it's weightless.
And smells good.
Did you hear that? And smells good. Smells clean and crisp. If you don't know what it smells like, it's almost like a minty, fresh feel.
Yeah.
All right, so now here, guys, I want you to be creative. Loosen this up a little bit. There is no wrong or right way. Okay, you can tighten it, you can loosen it. Try to figure out how it looks, right? Back away. Is there anything that you're not liking? It's okay, right? Now we're gonna pin, so create, same thing we kind of did on this side. I really like how this is looking because it's starting to drape. If you didn't know, that's what I'm gonna do, if you didn't guess already, I'm gonna drape the sides like what people are doing on Instagram, like the mousse-off, like a lot of artists are doing this. So I'm gonna kind of create that same similar feel. Okay. Again, continue to pin that. Ask, is everything okay? Is it hurting? Because you don't know, you are not the customer. Are you okay, hon?
Yeah, I'm good.
She's good. All right. Okay. So again, guys, this is a really easy look. You could dress it up or dress it down. Now we're going to go towards the sides, okay? There we are. So now we're here. And I want to be able to have this kind of loose and soft in the front. So I'm going to make sure, I'm not in a mirror right now, but I'm going to kind of gauge where I want these really pretty pieces to start to fall out first. I'm going to go ahead and take those pieces out. Why? Because that way I don't take them up, I don't pin them up, and I know that they're securely out. Okay, I want to get some of her lighter pieces. She has some really pretty delicate, soft, subtle pieces there, okay? Now we're going to brush this out. Again, subsection it, comb it out, and then start to drape it, start to see how it looks, okay? Now here I might create a little bit of backcombing because I see that there's too much separation. There's too much area where it looks like it's not in harmony, right? So now I'm going to brush that with a little bit of hairspray. Hope you guys can see. I'm going to twist it a little bit more. There we go. All right, and so here we're going to gently just brush it out, make sure that it's gently coming into place. Another thing I like about our hairspray, guys, is that not only the smell, but it's regular hold, so it's a working spray. It's not going to be too starchy to where it's not soft. There's nothing worse than having a hairstyle that's like way too overpowered, right? And we've all seen it. We've all been at a party where it's like, girl, she has, I mean, hairspray, right? Okay, so now I'm gonna gently tuck the rest of this in there. See how that's looking. If she's wearing earrings, she could like drop those down, be really, really pretty. And I want to see this more of a draped effect, like I said earlier. So I'm going to gently just push that hair a little bit of ways. put some hairspray in it.
Sophia, we have a great question from Rochelle.
Great.
Why are you choosing to pull the shape with your tail comb instead of teasing for volume?
Very good question. So I specifically am working to really respect the health of the hair. In NIOXIN, we don't really like to backcomb. We want to be able to create looks that are natural and not so, I would say, compromised in mechanics. So if I backcomb and she's going to 6 parties, you know, within the next holiday season that we have left, that's a lot of strain on the hair, right? So if I can get away with not doing that and just use my hands, then it's a better situation. So that's just why. All right. So here, guys, if you had, let's say, jewels, like little shiny, you know, crystals, or even like flowers, hair jewelry is what I call it, I would just create like a few pieces here and there, right? It looks really cute, really simple, but still like done, right? So now we're gonna do the other side the same way. Grab that back. Again, I might backcomb because I want to hide the sides. Very gently. There we go.
You have a shout out from Houston.
Houston love, yes. H-Town. My mic, sorry. Sorry, guys, this hair. Okay, not that one. I love Houston, guys. I'm biased because I was born and raised, but I tell you, it's fun to be out here, but when I get back, it's just all warm and fuzzy in my heart. All right. I'm going to leave those pieces out. I'm going to turn her around because I want to see if it's equal on both ends. So I'm going to get a little bit in front. That looks completely equal to me. So we will go ahead and pin the rest. Right. Now here, this is a real situation. On the other side of her head, she had more hair, all right? So I actually will tease a little bit on this end. Why? Because if you see, if I pull it up, this is kind of where we get into our hairline, right? Some people have more of, you know, some struggle there. I'm one. I just conceal it, but we all have this problem. You're like, no, not on Facebook Live. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and brush that a little bit. So good. So beautiful. Girl, hey, she's single, just saying.
Sort of thing. I gotta find something to do.
You gotta find something to do tonight.
Any comments for me over there?
Ah, hey. We'll pin that rest there.
Is NIOXIN color safe?
Is
The
NIOXIN
shampoo
color
and
safe?
conditioner?
The system kits, yes, we have formulations for color. We actually have technology that backs that up, okay? And as our stylers, it's color friendly, but I wouldn't say that there's a specific, you know, technology that really hones in on preserving your red or preserving your color. Now I'm going to turn her around and I'm going to show you how to kind of expand the shape a little bit. Now here, this could be very versatile, guys. You could really just, you know, do it more to the side. She could actually do a low chignon or even just like a different shape here. You see how versatile this is? So you could play around with that. If we have time, I can still do that.
Good. Keep going.
Keep going? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pin all this up, but this is already one look that we've created, right? So it's a low pony. I'm gonna twist her around so you can see it all from different angles. And you can tell, like, it's soft, it's elegant, it's beautiful. She can wear a gown or a cocktail dress like myself. And I mean, yeah, totally hot. So now we're gonna pin that up, give you another idea. And that's the thing about styling. Like, you do one thing and then you start to have ideas and you're like, well, this works, this will do. And it just kind of naturally, organically flows, right? And that's like the best way to do hair because it all comes together. All right, so here, let's see what we're working with. I'm gonna split this up. Subsection it out. I'm going to bring my little cushion again. By the way, this is the best idea. I saw somebody do this and I kind of stole it from them, just being honest. All right, so what I'm going to do is grab a pin and open it up, grab the hair at the bottom. You see what I'm doing? You want to twist and pin. Okay? Now don't be afraid if hair falls out. We're gonna work with that later on. Okay? Just creating the foundation of this all. Open, pin that at the bottom. Yeah, we're there. So just gently twist and push it in. Okay. If you want to, I'll give you another option. You can use instant fullness to kind of create more of a matte feel, or not just a matte feel, but more texturized. Since our first look was more polished, this could probably be a little bit more messy. So just open that hair, spray about 7 to 10 inches away. And what this has, guys, it has silica in it. It's a property that absorbs all her oil and it actually creates density. So if you see, I'm spraying and the hair is actually getting thicker, right? It's different from Diamax because Diamax has inner properties that work with expanding the diameter. But this is almost like, I always use the example, having cheerleaders lock arms and they're kind of in formation and they're creating space with one another. So instant fullness is basically doing the same thing, like you're creating lock chains of density. Okay, so we will grab that hair, continue to just pin, pin, pin. It looks super pretty. This is like Pinterest hair, right? Everybody's wanting that. Like in the South, some people, they still want that old school, like, I don't know what they're called, like perm curls. I'm like, what are you doing? And I'll do it because they're paying me, they want that, but I'm like, this is not, this is not at all what's trendy. But that's important, guys. Like, speaking about that, we're the authority figure, right? We're the authority figure as far as fashion when it comes to hair. So when clients come to you and request, oh, you know, I want to do this hairstyle, I want it like this, I have a way to kind of gently push my ideas towards them. There are some that they won't give you the love back, and they'll say, no, I still want what I want. And you'll respect that, right? But if it's someone that you know personally, you've done their hair for a while, and you're like, you know what, honey, let me help you out. You know, let me do something that's a little bit more in suit with what your look is. And if you just have a better way of communicating that, chances are they're gonna thank you later on. Like, you know what, girl, I was totally opposed to your idea, but it turns out that it worked out for me, and I was really happy with my overall look. Okay, so I'm gonna start pinning this side. And what I said earlier, you see how easy it is to manipulate her hair? If this wasn't prepped, we would have a hard time. Very hard time.
Do you have any tips for curlier hair texture?
Curlier hair texture, yes. Secret from Diane Stevens. She is another top artist for NIOXIN. She told me, she lives in a very predominantly ethnic part of Washington, D.C., where that's predominantly what they do. So I asked her, hey, you know, I do a lot of Latin hair, and some of my girls are mixed. A lot of them are from Cuba, they're Dominican, they're Puerto Rican, and they're curly, curly, curly. What are your tips with NIOXIN? So she told me a long time ago, first of all, you need to go to my salon and see it in action. I'm a very busy person. I haven't had a chance to. I feel bad. Diane, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I love you. So she said, look, when it comes to curl, it's all about moisture, right? So when you are working with curly-haired girls or men, you want to be able to create control. And so she told me a secret. She said, use Diamax overpowered, like the entire bottle if you want. I said, what do you mean? She said, yes, trust me. She said, the more Diamax you have, the softer the hair will become. Why? Because she told me that the HTX technology in the product penetrates in that strand so well that it actually begins to soften the curl pattern. So if you're doing a blowout, if you're going to do an up style and it's a curly, curly girl, what you have to do is just prep it so much that it's going to easily become manageable, right? So with that being said, I did it, and I tried it out, and it completely worked for me. And I was over here thinking, oh, Diamax is only for women that, you know, have like 2 strands of hair, that really need volume, and just want high humidity hold up. But really, she gave me a lesson that it isn't just restricted to girls that are, you know, straight or wavy. So I'm finishing up. I'm just gonna pin a little bit more down here. Tilt your head down. There we go. Underneath, you wanna make sure that there's no pockets of hair poking out, anything like that. And again, this is a hairstyle that she can use as like a bohemian bride, a real like soft, I would even say like New Year's party. It's very versatile. It goes, you can make, you know, the dress the highlights, or even the jewelry. She can have amazing earrings, bedazzled earrings, and look really nice. Less is more, guys. Always remember that. So now I'm just really finishing up the overall feel of it. Okay, and now these little hairs, I'm gonna manipulate my, I'm gonna use my hands to manipulate the actual hair. And here, this may draw that way, so I'm just going to gently spray and almost like set it, right? So any of these little stragglers that pick out, you just want to gently, you know, start to spray them down and say, hey guys, behave. Stay in place. Hold this for me. See that? All right. Pin that in right there. Hairspray. Okay, pins. Another important thing, guys, when you're using hairspray is to always back up away from the hair. This is a secret, 10 inches at least. Why? If you do it close, the only thing that you're literally like shooting out is just basically, hairspray please, just the firmness of the product. When you have it away, you actually have equal distribution of everything that's inside. Because the way that this can is made inside or internally is, it's almost like a rocket. So if you're just like here, you're gonna get glue. But if you're out, everything has the time to expand the entire way that scientifically it's made. So always, always keep that in mind. I didn't know that. I was like, why are my updos not soft? Well, because I was right here, you know? So make sure that you do that. All right, honey. I'm gonna take this away from you. Okay. And I'm gonna have you look at the camera, do your thing. And I'm just gonna tell you guys that I really appreciate you for tuning in today. I really hope that all these tips that I offered are gonna help you finish off the year strong and have versatile ability to do amazing hair. Thank you for watching. I love y'all and have a really great rest of your day. Show them everything that I did, girl. Do your thing, twist. Thank you.